LifeClass by Pastor Cesar Castellanos. Week 1. Learning from our mistakes. Day 2. An opportunity for an encounter. Billy Graham said, "Because you are a soul, as well as a body and a mind, you will never find an inward joy, peace, forgiveness, and sense of security with God until your soul has been satisfied, and your soul cannot be satisfied apart from God." As human beings, we were created with the ability to choose. Every day of our lives is the fruit of our decisions. The prodigal son made some bad decisions, but the consequences that followed left him longing for change. He was faced with a new opportunity to start over. While it was not easy for him because it meant humbling himself, swallowing his pride, and depending solely on the mercy of his father, his desire for something new helped him make the best decision. He said yes to an encounter with his father. When he came to his senses, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare? And here I am starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you.'" Luke 15:17-18a. The young man in the parable wanted to live life his own way, just like many young people today who allow rebellion in their hearts. They think that submitting to the authority and discipline of their homes restricts freedom. They consider themselves to be the authors of their own destinies and believe that their parents will never be able to advise them on how to run their lives. That is exactly what happened to the prodigal son. He had the nerve to say to his father, "Give me my share of the estate." Luke 15:12. Instead of arguing with his son, the father simply gave him all that he had asked. From the moment this young man left home, every step he took was not only further distancing him from his father, but also leading him toward a total wasteland. Everything he had owned at one point in his life disappeared as quickly as one awakes from a dream, and he found himself in a place of total abandonment and desperation, barely even able to feed himself. 1. He moved far away to a distant land. 2. He wasted his possessions by living frivolously there. 3. He squandered everything. Despite all his efforts, the only job he could find was feeding pigs. During one of the most dismal moments of his life, this young man started to compare his current situation to the very different life he had led in his father's house. He realized that while he was feeding pigs and starving to death, all his father's servants had food to spare. That thought then charted the course that led to his encounter with his father. The prodigal son was sure that his father would receive him, opening the doors of his house, despite the wrong decisions he had made. At the very least, he would take him on as a servant. It is so good that he realized in time. Live the lesson. 1. Have you lost anything in life because of bad decisions you made, which you would now like to recover? 2. Find out what humbling yourself before God means. You can use various resources such as dictionaries or Bible reference guides, or you could ask your LifeClass guide. 3. Just as this young man humbled himself so that he could return to his father, the Bible says that God will never reject a broken and repentant heart. Psalm 51:17. Set apart some time today to humble yourself before God and desire to be reconciled to Him with all your heart. remember the lesson. We have the opportunity to return to God's loving arms, but doing so is a personal decision. Study the Word. Read Psalm 4, Psalm 5, Psalm 6, Proverbs 2, John 2, and John 3. This audiobook is narrated by Pauline Lu for the purpose of helping LifeClass students. No copyright infringement intended. All credit belongs to Pastor Cesar Castellanos and his team of translators, and all glory belongs to our Lord Jesus Christ.